Every spiritual journey begins with a path, a direction, a practice, a promise of arrival. But every true realization ends the same way. The path disappears, not because it was wrong, but because it was never leading anywhere. Why the path was necessary? The path had a purpose. It slowed you down. It turned attention inward. It loosened false identification. Without a path, the restless mind could not begin. But the path was always a temporary structure. Joel taught that ladders are not destinations. They are tools meant to be left behind. The moment the path collapses one day, something subtle happens. You notice you are no longer moving toward anything, not enlightenment, not peace, not truth. There is no sense of progress and no sense of stagnation, just being. This is not resignation. This is completion. Real life, when practice falls away, a woman noticed she stopped meditating, not intentionally, not rebelliously. It simply felt unnecessary. Silence was no longer entered. Silence was no longer exited. Life itself had become unbroken. Why seeking can nitrogen monoxide longer continue seeking requires two things: a seeker, a destination. When neither is found, seeking loses momentum. You do not stop seeking. Seeking cannot survive. Joel emphasized that seeking was fueled by identity. When identity dissolves, the fuel runs out. The end of spiritual time on the path, there was always later. Later understanding, later stability, later embodiment. Now, later collapses, not into urgency, but into sufficiency. Nothing is postponed, nothing is pending. Real life, days without next. A man noticed something strange. His days no longer felt like steps. Morning did not aim at evening. Today did not aim at tomorrow. Life felt circular, complete at every point. This was not boredom. This was freedom from anticipation. Why even awakening falls away? Awakening implies contrast. Asleep gives awake. Unconscious gives conscious. But here, there is no opposite, no before, no after. Life is not awake. Life simply is. The word awakening becomes unnecessary. Nitrogen monoxide authority, nitrogen monoxide teacher, nitrogen monoxide follower. At this depth, hierarchy dissolves. No one is ahead. No one is behind. Teachers become voices, not authorities. Teachings become echoes, not instructions. Joel never asked anyone to follow him. He asked them to stop following. Real life, learning without belonging. A woman still enjoyed listening to teachings, but she no longer belonged to any path. No lineage identity, no spiritual home. Truth felt intimate, not owned. Why the path ended without ceremony? There is no graduation, no announcement, no declaration. The path does not end with fireworks. It ends the way night ends, by no longer being noticed. The final resistance of the mind whispers, if there is no path, how will I stay true? But truth does not require maintenance. What required maintenance was the idea of separation. Joel said truth sustains itself effortlessly. Life without a direction, without a path, life does not drift. It becomes responsive. Work happens when needed. Rest happens naturally. Speech happens when appropriate. There is no map, yet nothing is lost. Real life, decisions without spiritual reference. A man noticed he stopped asking, is this aligned? Is this spiritual? Decisions were simpler. Not careless, clear. The absence of spiritual reference removed confusion. The end of self-improvement. The path always aimed to improve the self. But when the self dissolves, improvement loses meaning. Life does not need to be better. Life is not a project. Why compassion becomes natural? Compassion no longer comes from values. It arises from non-separation. You don't help because you should. You help because no distance exists, Joel called this impersonal love. Not cold, not detached, effortless. Real life, service without sacrifice. A woman helped someone without inner debate. No self-image as helper. No exhaustion afterward. Giving did not cost her anything, because nothing personal was spent. The path was a story, life is not. The spiritual path had a narrative, beginning, middle, end. Life has no storyline. Events happen, they dissolve. No arc is being completed, and yet nothing feels unfinished. What remains when the path ends? Not enlightenment, not realization, not silence. What remains is ordinariness without resistance. Life feels simple, not simplified, unburdened. A final pointer: notice this gently. Is there anything you are still trying to reach? If so, don't stop it. Just notice the tension of reaching, and see how unnecessary it already is. The quiet end. The end of the path does not feel like victory. It feels like relief. Not relief from something, relief of something. The burden of becoming falls away. If this part resonated quietly but deeply, like this video so others can find it. Subscribe for teachings that point beyond paths and practices. And comment below. The path has ended.